Hello, guys. Welcome. I'm Vinny Carias of WCG Investments, and I'm here with my partner, Tim. And we have something really exciting to talk about today. So we just closed on a 74 lot park in Sumter, South Carolina. So that is really exciting for us. And today we'll break down why we like this deal, and we'll talk about the due diligence process, what that looked like, and what we're planning for the park, and what this means for our investors in the local community. So let's get to it. Tim, how are you feeling today?
Good, good. Glad we closed the deal. It's another one. I was talking with Matthias recently. It's like, oh, this is, close to the one, in size, purchase price wise, as the one we closed our first one together in Spartanburg. And it's like, I remember how nervous and excited I was about that. And this one, it was like, oh, sweet. That's cool. But it didn't have that same excitement. And I'm like, oh, that's perfect because, we just keep doing the same things that work over and over again. And it's like, I know that when something is old hat and it's like perfect. That's how it should be. Now let's continue to do that and keep building the portfolio.
Yes. And I wasn't able to travel for that particular deal, but I saw pictures and I saw the drone footage. It's a beautiful park. It's
Yeah,
called Scenic Lake for a reason.
yeah, yeah.
So let's talk, high level summary of the park, right? So it's a two park portfolio, Scenic Lake and Plains, and they're about 20 miles apart from each other. So the purchase price is 3.34 million. 57 occupied parked-owned homes, two occupied tenant-owned homes. We have 9 vacant park-owned homes and 6 vacant lots. So overall, it's a really, really good asset. I'm really excited about it, and I know the team is ready to roll. So Tim, tell us about how we found this deal. How did it come across our inbox?
Yeah, so we closed another one in Sumter a few months back, and this one was with the same broker. I don't remember which one we had made an offer on first because both of them were kind of, long. We made an offer, we were rejected, and then we just followed up with them. This one was great because, the people wanted to sell at 3.5 million and we were so far off because there was a ton of vacancy, a lot more. And if I remember right, we were somewhere in the range of like 2.2 million. So like way off. And then we just kind of didn't really mess with it. We just got to put it in the back of our head. It's in our, follow up in Podio to follow up with the broker. And, I think he came back to me, the broker, and was like, hey, like they've done a ton of work. Can you re-underwrite this? And so based on all their work, we got super close to being able to hit their 3.5 number. Not, we didn't hit it exactly, but like they did so much work that it made sense. And again, everything's based on returning, giving 2x equity multiple to investors in 5 years. We keep it super simple. So, based on all the work they did, we're able to get a lot closer to their price and do a transaction where everyone walked away happy with the process.
Right. So let's talk about the due diligence process. So were there any red flags or any surprises during the DD?
There were some red flags. We kind of already knew about it, but when we were there, it was like more real. So when Tias and I went and visited and met with the broker and with the owner. And first of all, I highly recommend getting on site and then just listening to the broker, the goods and the bads, and or sorry, listening to the owner. the goods, the bads, everything about it. And so he said, there's a lagoon. Like, for some reason, it didn't click in my head. I'm sure I saw it beforehand, but it didn't really click. So I said, really, like, we don't buy lagoons. We stay way away from that. We don't want to mess with that. Not that they're necessarily bad systems, more that, you really limit your buyer pool when you're trying to exit because of something like that. And so, yeah, that was a red flag. And we asked the seller about it, and he said, actually, it's owned by a third party person. And so we're a third party company, and they take care of everything. They make sure if there's anything wrong that they come and take care of it, similar to how a public municipality would. And, we did some more research. They are under supervision of the Department of Health, DES in South Carolina. And they're above board. They've been doing everything needed. And we also had a serious conversation with the bank. We closed with Vanderbilt again, and like we were like, this is the issue. Do you guys have any issue with this? Because if so, we'll have to drop it. And like, totally understandable. I think I said on another one of these is, you always treat your bank like a partner. And so we had them review with their whole team. And one time, Matthias went out to the parks. I was sick actually, so I couldn't make it. But Matthias went and met one of the guys from Vanderbilt. Like, they love to do that. So it's the same thing, they love to see and feel and be on site. And he basically gave his blessing. He said, okay, they've done their research. There's nothing about it that would make them not want to finance it. So yeah, there were red flags, and we made sure to dig into them. And it wasn't an automatic no, clearly. We just closed it, but it
Right.
was definitely something that caused us to stop and do a lot more research because it could have killed the deal.
Yeah, for sure. We don't like lagoons, so yeah, true.
Yeah.
So when I was looking at the pictures and the video, something that's jumped out was the fact that one of the parks has new roads, like paved roads, and it was very, very clean. Tell me about the walkthroughs, what jumped out in terms of the infrastructure of the parks.
Yeah, it's crazy how much like value new roads can provide, and how much of a facelift it gives, and just makes a nicer place to live. And so, yeah, I was very, very happy when we did that walkthrough in the first time. And I was like, oh, it looks so clean. And it's funny, like, so then we went to Plains, the other one, and the roads are all gravel. And it looks a lot more run down. And the thing is, if side by side them, they look the same. The only difference is really the roads. And so one of our first things that we're going to be doing is paving the roads in Plains to match Scenic Lake. Yeah, it's so funny. I mean, the homes are about in the similar condition. There's nothing that one has that the other doesn't besides the roads. So that was the big thing, and it's just they're both nice mid-sized parks, and with adding the roads, paved roads into Plains is going to be a really, really solid portfolio.
Absolutely. So that's a good transition. Let's talk about the short-term and long-term goals for the parks. So you mentioned paving the roads, and that's going to happen here next month, right? I believe we already have a
Yeah,
date
yeah.
where they're going to pave the roads. So we're moving fast. But yeah, let's talk about the short-term and long-term plans for the parks.
Yeah, so short term, yeah, it's fixing up the roads, it's making things nicer. Long term, and I mean this is short to mid to long term, is we're going to be working with the tenants to create some kind of rent to own or lease with an option for all of the homes. Really to create that win-win situation where they can have ownership of something, and once it's paid off, they're all they have to do is pay lot rent, which is substantially cheaper, and then it is a win for us because it on like day one reduces all the expenses on homes. And as we know, you get older homes, thousands, 90s, 80s, whatever, like it starts to nickel and dime you in a lot of ways. So there's a lot of things that can be fixed up with someone who's a little bit handy for a lot cheaper than like if we have to fix it up, we have to call someone out and it's expensive. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense to just, create that scenario where people can buy their own homes. And it's not 100%, it's not even close to that, but if I remember right, in our Spartanburg deal, there were 59 park-owned homes that closed. And I want to say we've created long-term lease with an option to purchase on 35 of them, maybe, over half. I know that. So yeah, that's in the plan. And then other than that, it's just slow lot rent increases, getting so we're closer to market, but nothing, no jumps.
Yeah,
Very slow and deliberate. We don't want to put anyone out.
that's what I love about mobile home parks, at least the ones we acquire. And the business plan is so simple, right? It's
Yeah.
not complicated. And, and we look for that win-win situation where you give the opportunity to people to be homeowners, right? And and for us, it reduces the expenses, which is great for our returns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the last thing, I don't remember in the business plan when we're going to do it, but infill those last six slots.
Yes.
So it's, a baby infill sort of thing. Nothing crazy. And we already have with Vanderbilt like a line of credit for homes. So all that stuff's, set up for us to do.
And not to mention that, the parks are cash flow on day one, which is something
Yeah,
I've always
yeah,
looked for.
yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the financing. Tell us about the lending for this particular deal.
Yeah, so we went with Vanderbilt, which is, one of our favorite mobile home park lenders. They are great in that they understand the asset. They lend on park-owned homes. They're related to or subsidiary or something of Clayton Manufactured Homes. So yeah, we have a really great relationship with everyone at Vanderbilt, and I can't speak highly enough about them. They're, great to work with, and like I was saying earlier, they're very much our partners in these deals. And so I respect very much what they have to say about something. And so, getting their blessing means a lot because they know the asset better than I do. So if they're good with it, it's like, okay, we have been good with it for the most part. We did all of our due diligence on the lagoon, but getting their extra like approval, that
Yes,
that means a lot, dude.
it's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. And it gives you peace, right? It gives you that comfort that, yeah, this is a good deal. Okay, we talked about the finance. Let's talk about the tax advantages. What unique tax advantages do we have for our investors or any incentives related to this particular deal?
Yeah, so right before we started recording, I went back through the Madison specs proposal I got from Eden to see, what we're looking at. And based on his numbers, we're looking at like $1.64 of year one depreciation for every dollar invested, which is so much. It's so good that like the thank God for 100% bonus depreciation and thank God for mobile home parks and tax codes that allow for, real estate investors to save a whole ton. So yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Can we talk about how our last deals exceeded the projections on our cost seg?
Yeah. So like, and what it was so interesting. I mean, we were projecting 70 cents, 80 cents, 90 cents on the dollar. And then we got the returns back and it was like a dollar, $1.20, $1.40 for the deals. And it's like I love working with Eden and he's very transparent about we will give you this proposal and we generally can beat it. So that they underpromise and overdeliver. And I love it about them.
Absolutely. That's what you want.
Yeah.
And I know our investors are happy. Yeah, let's talk about Sumter a little bit. Sumter is a growing market. There's a high demand for affordable housing. One of the parks is pretty much behind Shaw Air Force Base, right? Which
Hmm.
is why we were not able to get drone shots for that particular park.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But it's a great market. This is our second park in Sumter. So, and we may keep growing in Sumter. Right? We have some plans in the background, working some stuff. But we really like the Sumter market.
Yeah, yeah.
Anything else you want to add about Sumter?
Yeah, I really like Sumter as well. I mean, it's a solid secondary market, I would say, in South Carolina. And like deals, you can make deals make sense. And I mean, it's there's such a big need for affordable housing up there. And what's interesting, like sure, like we've done all of our research on Sumter. We have all of our reasons why we like it. It's growing. There's need, there's demand, there's all that. But I was at a local real estate meetup last night, talking to a friend of mine, and he was saying, he has some stuff in Sumter, and he knows a lot of the people in City Hall, and he said, they're very, very willing to work with landlords. So it's like instead of, sometimes you go to towns and they want nothing to do with mobile home parks. These guys apparently they're like, yeah, like let's work together, let's be collaborative. And that's our theme, right? That's what works really well for us is collaborating with people to make things better. So yeah, I mean you can't go wrong with that. He's going to get me all his contacts with the town so we can build that relationship up. And really, you cannot go wrong with having a good relationship with the town or a city. For everyone who's new and wants to get into real estate, especially mobile home parks, because a lot of people look down on them.
Yeah,
Make friends with the city as much as you can, or the town, or whatever.
yeah. And the perception of, people have this idea of mobile home parks. Not all mobile home parks are the same. Some of these communities are beautiful, they're clean, and families live in them, right? So we want to make sure that they're maintained and that people are proud to live in these communities, right? That's our goal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so this was a quick recording just to share how excited we are about closing another deal, especially in a market that we like a lot. Let's see, one last question before we wrap up. What would you say to a passive investor curious about deals like this particular one?
Do your research, especially on the operator, and then know what your goals are. So, do you want cash flow? Do you want appreciation? Do you want tax savings? If you want all three, come talk to us about deals like this. But there's know what you're looking for before really going out there because I mean, sure we're getting great depreciation, but I saw someone else who has had like a 5-to-1 depreciation on a completely unrelated kind of asset. So not real estate. So like you're likely not going to have the same appreciation and or cash flow, but you have a ton of depreciation. So, I was talking to an investor of ours who was like, I want $1 million of depreciation. And I'm like, sweet. How much money do you have to invest? He's like, not $1 million. I'm like, okay, well, I'll keep my eyes open. And I saw the like 5-to-1 thing and I sent it to him. And it's like, this might work better for you. Like, sure, I want everyone to invest in our deals. I'm not going to pretend I don't, but like, he's a friend of ours. And so, like, if there's someone else who has something that might work better for him, then I have no problem sending him over there to like check out that deal because it might work out better. And
Right.
that's kind of what we try to do when we're talking to investors. We like to get to know what they're looking for. And maybe our deal isn't the right fit for them. And that's totally okay. We know the business and might know where to guide them if the deal we have isn't a good fit for them. But yeah, I mean, if you want to preserve your wealth and you want to save a ton on taxes, talk with us.
There you have it, folks. Feel free to reach out. So, yeah, thanks again for joining us today. If you're an investor and want to hear more about future opportunities, just like this one, go ahead and visit wcginvestments.com to join our investor list. And feel free to reach out if you have questions and want to continue the conversation. So, as always, if you enjoyed this recording and this topic, feel free to share it with somebody who's curious about investing in mobile home communities. So, with that said, thanks again for joining, and until next time.